Go.
Hi, my name is Veronica Harris. Recently, in today's news headlines, there's been a lot of talk about elections and politics. And we had a number of women running for office in these latest elections. And although it wasn't a presidential election, we have actually recently had, for the second time in the United States, a woman run for the office of vice president. Now, unfortunately, also, both times that a woman has run for vice president, they've not won. And that got me to thinking, what does America actually think about women as leaders, and especially as leaders in political offices? I chose an article that actually did research. The Pew Research Center actually did research recently about men and women leaders and how their effect was on the American public, or what, better said, what the American public thought about them. And I chose this particular article because as opposed to it being written by a staff writer and them giving their individual opinions, this article was compiled of a bunch of surveys that were taken by the general public. So it gave a broader view of people's opinions. What it actually showed is that women and men as leaders, there wasn't a great difference in the minds of people as far as capability. In fact, when it came to scoring women and men in leadership traits, women outscored men in a number of areas. As far as positive leadership traits, women were perceived to be more honest, intelligent, caring, compassionate, outgoing, and creative. They scored equally with men when it came to ambition and hard work, but the place where women actually were outscored by men was indecisiveness. I agree that for those leadership traits, there are also those that will be equivalent to a woman having that more gentling, nurturing touch, and therefore we would probably possess those skills that would be most desirable by people on the job for their boss or their leader. But sometimes, as we'll see a little bit later, that's kind of like a double-edged sword. Our nurturing capabilities actually kind of probably work against us when it comes to other leadership roles, and it's in particular politics, and we'll explore that a little bit because the survey also spoke about women in politics and holding office and how they measured against men in the areas of performance skills and policy matters. Once again, fellas, sorry, the women outscored men when it came to performance skills, and that dealt with working out compromises, keeping the government honest, representing the interest of the people, and standing up for what they believe. When it came to policy matters, women were considered to excel better than men in dealing with social issues. However, where the men outshined the women had to deal with policies and being tough on crime, national security, and defense. So we can
That's
see
all I need.
there is maybe that is the result of a gender bias, because defense and crime and public safety are usually things that people feel a little bit safer with them being in the hands of a man. And once again, our gentle nature as women, our nurturing nature, just is not as conducive with those types of roles. And that's where that double-edged sword comes into play. As for me, I have to be perfectly honest, when it comes to elections and when it comes to the political arena, I really don't have a problem with the woman in a leadership role, whether it be corporate or whether it be in politics. But I must admit, when it comes to the highest position in the country, and that being president, I'm not sure I will exactly be ready for a woman in charge of national defense of our nation. Not that I don't believe that she could fulfill the role, but just as this survey showed, there are biases out there, and not just in our country, but also in other countries that would be dealing with negotiations with ours. And I just don't see where necessarily a woman in that office would get the same respect as a man. And so that would probably curtail me from voting for a woman in office. So I'm not sure what your positions are, but I actually just have to say that it's definite that there are some gender biases out there when it comes to women and men in leadership roles. They're shown through this survey, and I have to, again, admit, I have those same gender biases. So, thank you all so much for listening, and I greatly appreciate it. So,
You have about